the button, then I know. GM. Okay, we're live.
We are live.
Yeah, we are. GM,
GM.
everyone. Hi, Prof.
GM, Adrian. Good morning. How are we doing today?
Yeah, we're back. I think
We're
it's
back.
been less than 24 hours.
I know that's very weird for us. And we were just talking about how we really don't like doing back to back. We need those little breaks in between to rest us up. But I am excited because today we're going to have some guests coming in just a little bit, which Humpty from Cryptosapiens and Sahil from Openrank. And they're going to be talking about some of the changes and some of the upgrades that they made to the Cryptosapiens channel and some of the cool things they're doing. We're also going to be chatting about token links. You can just press the ticker now. Ooh. Very exciting. And we had some news from our friends at Bolide as well. There was a little bit of spiciness yesterday on the timeline. So you ready, Adrian? Let's dive in.
Let's go. Yeah.
All right. And here we go. Welcome to GM Farcaster, bringing you everything from breaking news to spicy memes to the deep lore shaping this vibrant digital community. More than just a show, GM Farcaster is your digital third space where the community connects, the stories unfold, and the culture thrives. Whether you're a daily caster or just dropping by, we've got the latest buzz to keep you plugged in. So grab your coffee and let's dive in with your hosts, Nanish Prof and Adrian, for another episode of GM Farcaster. Whoop. 1 second. Gotta get this off. GM Farcaster. It is Thursday, January 16th, and you are here with Nanish Prof and Adrian for less than 29 minutes of news, plus an interview with Humpty and Sahil. And if you are on Twitter, go give us a little retweet from the Prof Worder account. You'll see us live now on Twitter, and we want to make sure we get that news out. So very exciting. Really excited for our guest today. I think that's going to be a great conversation. Basically, I've been meaning to look at Cura and OpenRank and see how we might be able to use it in our channels, and I haven't had time. So this is like the opportunity to learn all about it for us as well. So, and we are live now.
Different day,
right.
different day, different time.
Different day, different time. It's going to mess us up. So share it everywhere.
Either nobody shows up or we get some new faces.
We get we get some insanity. So please go recast, retweet, share it around because it is an off day for us. Not our usual crew, but we're excited to be here. And we're going to dive right in because we want to cover a few things before our guests pop up with us on stage. You see my background today. I just love this. The Brooklyn croissant game is pretty strong. I'm not going to lie. And that was from Matthew B. I just loved the look of that. It just was the aesthetic. Yeah, it was just pretty. I'm like, that's really pretty.
Is Riley on the other side? He's got 2 drinks and 2 croissants. So
yeah, I assume.
Is it?
Yeah, I assume he's not alone.
Drinking a latte and a matcha.
I assume that's the situation. And I got to show you. Go ahead.
Matthew's cast game has been very strong lately.
Very strong. Like he's in it. Yeah, he's hit like a new level. He's a bit of an influencer, if you will. He's become an influencer, a red light, a skincare influencer.
Skincare.
And I got to share your background. And this was from TLDR. Yester Crypto's bit here is getting really good. I'm starting to hope Matcha doesn't listen so we can see how long he streaks. And this is from Yester Crypto, day 73 of asking Matcha to support limit orders on base. And this one might be one of my favorites. I don't know why. It just is really funny. This final frame down here where you see him behind him.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's so good. So, yes to crypto, although we want you to get what you want, we also are enjoying this quite a bit. So, and that maybe that's the problem. Maybe Matcha's enjoying it as well. They might be like, he's giving us free promotion every day. I don't know. But Matcha, please help our friend out. This from you, and just a reminder, now we are on pods.media. So GM Farcaster Season 3, ICYMI, you can now watch the full episode, listen to the audio-only version, mint the episode all from the frame without leaving Farcaster. Well done, pods.media. And if you haven't seen their frame, it's pretty awesome. I've been really impressed with this. I've been really impressed with the flow, the team, everything. So if you have a podcast, make sure you get it on pods.media. Should have done it sooner. But this is really cool. It gives you all the about. You can share it. You can see the other episodes that are available. Very cool frame. Yeah. So thanks, Pods team. We're loving it. And moving on, this is the big news. Introducing token links. This is from DWR. Try it now. DGen, TN100X, hire Moxie Anon. Mention a token with a leading $sign. It turns into a link. Tap the link to see top tokens by market cap and recent casts. Linked to Dex Screener and copy contract address. Working in casts and profiles already on the protocol, just enriching text in casts. Future ideas, smarter algo for casts, expect a bit of spam this week. Additional info and metrics for traders, Farcaster social graph signals, customization for token creators, tie-in with frames and on-chain transactions, known issues. If token links aren't linkifying, update your app and restart 1 to 2x. Casts are slow to load, making that faster. Token links don't work in DCs or Composer yet. Sorting by market cap may result in non-FC native assets ahead of FC native ones, e.g. Anon. Reminder, you can mute all token links by adding $sign to your mute words on Warpcast. And this is very cool. So if you click on, for example, DGen, it's going to show you the market cap. You have a link right here to the Dex Screener if you wanted to go purchase, or you can just copy the contract. And then below that, you're seeing casts that mention DGen. So whichever token that you click on. And so that is pretty cool. So you can get like the latest whatever where people are mentioning that particular token, get a little more information about it, etc. It's not working exactly right for all tokens yet. So just beware of that there may be some, like, for example, cast out. It's not quite working properly yet, but it's, slowly but surely. So this is really, really cool. If you didn't see Dan ask the other day about tokens, this is what this was for. So we kind of were anticipating this was happening. I had noted, very cool. We speculated this was coming when you started asking about tokens, and DWR said, I finally dipped into the Notion doc. Do not open until bull market has started. So there you go.
What else is in that doc?
Right? I know.
Get ready, people.
This is a good question. This is a very good question. I'd like to know. Let's see the doc, Dan. This from Rish at Nanar. Webhooks are temporarily slow as a result of this migration. Working on it now. So this is a database migration. Starting now, things will be broken for a few minutes and it should be good now. But if you had any issues yesterday or you're continuing to have any issues, ping the Nanar team so that they can address it. Wait, let me go back to this real quick though. Are you excited about this or are you like,
Adrian's face?
Yeah. Are you Adrian?
Oh, no, I'm excited.
Okay. Are you Adrian's face? Are you going to Adrian face this or?
No, I'm totally excited.
Okay. I am too. I think this is an incredible integration. I'm really happy. By the way, ETH doesn't work. $sign ETH doesn't work. Just so funny of all the things. Like, all right. I think it's great. I think it's a great integration. I think it's a great use of our social graph as well. So fantastic.
USDC points to a token named Unicorn Small DGen Cat.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
also maybe not what you'd expect, but
not really what you're looking for. If you like, even if you look at this one at DGen, you see the other fake DGens below it. So you always have to double check and make sure you have the right contract address. For the one
ticker name's not unique. Contract address is
correct.
But I've yet to meet a human that can easily read contract addresses.
Yeah, no, but you can always double check it. on things. And that's what I would always recommend.
Is that by looking at the last 4 characters of that
Yeah.
contract address? Don't do
Yeah.
it.
And a little bit
That's
more.
also
But
not okay.
yeah, a little bit more. Well, I
Okay.
usually look at the
Known
beginning and the end.
scams.
Beginning and the
Okay.
end and double check it. And what I mean is like if I was going to DGen, I'd just go double check dgen.tips or something like that. Just make sure
Yeah.
it's the right one if you're purchasing. And also a reminder, friendly reminder. Once again, cryptocurrency is volatile. Please be careful. Do not spend more than you have to lose because it is a bit of a casino. A few more things. This from John Cornelius. Summary of what I'm hearing from builders about mini app platforms. Farcaster, big upgrade in dev experience with Frames v2, seeing strong retention with improved discoverability. Notifs performing crazy well. Totally agree with that. But obviously limited size. WorldCoin and user numbers are attractive, but meaningful lift to adapt product to the platform and actual usage engagement underwhelming. Telegram still king with massive audience. Stars make onboarding, monetizing non-crypto audiences way easier, easy build. Anyone have anything to add or having a different experience? So I would agree that discoverability is better with the Explore tab and having that front and center. Notifications like for things like Farcade or now Stream, the app Stream. Those things are fantastic. I think we're just like slowly just adding on more features that are so beneficial. So very cool. Okay, I'm going to dive into a little bit of this. Couple disclaimers beforehand. Bolide has been a sponsor before in the past. We are very friendly with Oxbid, who is the founder of Bolide. So just putting those, out there. I do own some of this token. Just all those disclaimers before I continue on. So this happened yesterday. Bolide had started teasing, that they were going to be, something was going to drop. And they just said, make sure only trust information posted from official accounts, because they started launching. There were some things that were launching that were fake versions of what they were planning to launch. So they had started to announce, we're working with Clanker. We're going to be doing an integration. We're also going to be dropping a Clanker later, notifications on. And so that got people a little, excited, waiting, etc. Then this dropped. This was the official token that they launched under Green Bull. And there was a little bit of a delay between when they launched it and when they announced the launch from the official channels, like about 8 minutes or so. In that time, there were some snipers that did get in and take a lot of the supply. This caused a little bit of a controversy. So this is from Oxbid. I'll probably stop posting for today and go grab a drink. She's having a rough one. What a launch. Bolide token has generated 5 million trading volume already, and it's day one. Tomorrow is the web app launch with Clanker integration. We are seriously sniped and had to deal with it for 2 hours. I was so stressed. Luckily, it was a good sniper, someone we didn't even know existed. He sold what he wanted to sell and then sent the rest of the tokens to our team wallet. For those interested, we contacted the sniper via transaction message in his wallet. You can see it on Basescan, and it's linked in this cast. We have a long-term plans and a batch of features ahead. Bolide is here to stay and play the long game. A huge thank you to Proxy Studio and the entire Clanker team. We wouldn't have launched this token without them. First-class team, happy to be part of the Clanker ecosystem. So they have now locked 16% of the supply. You can see that in their team wallet. And the rest is being used for rewards and things like that on the Bolide app. Very stressful. So there were some mistakes that were made. But I think if you go through and read some of these discussions that are in this particular chat from Proxy, where he talks about it today, I found out some of our ecosystem devs are really slow at buying the bullish new Bolide Clanker. And there was some back and forth about why. And there was a really good discussion with Brick's Bounty. I would say go take a look at this, because I was asking also within this chat, like, hey, who exactly sniped and how was it resolved? So for what it's worth, great team. really solid team. I think that, all of this is on the up and up, and there was just, somebody got in there, was anticipating it, was watching, waiting, pounced, and caused a little bit of a disturbance with the launch. So there you go. Did you catch any of that yesterday on the timeline? I didn't know if you were, I
I'm
didn't know if you
so
were paying
embarrassed to
attention.
admit this. Not even
Not even a little
one
bit.
piece of it.
Yeah.
Like completely went over my head. I'm very surprised. I'm like second guessing, like where was I yesterday? Was I even on Farcaster? I can't even
And
remember. I know
Twitter. It was on both
yesterday.
places. There was a lot of
Yeah,
chatter
no, it's
on
definitely
both
not. It
spots.
was definitely not
Yeah.
on Twitter. But I'm trying to remember what I even did. What was I working on yesterday?
What
Was I not
doing?
even on the timeline? Because I
Was I
completely
alive?
missed it. So I appreciate the summary. Now I know.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's it was rough. It was rough.
Mhm.
So this one last thing from Bolide, and then we're gonna jump to our guests. If you want to try out the new token launch feature with Bolide and Clanker, here is how to do it in its current mode. Token image upload will be as easy as upload from your camera roll by tomorrow. So it is, I guess they already have some things they were already testing, so it's there, but it will be, I think there's still a few things they're putting into place today, but this is exciting. So cool to see. And sorry for all the challenges they had yesterday, though. Not fun. I am going to say I want to mention one more thing from Horse Facts because it made me laugh and I was relating. Black Hole is a good name because this game sucks up all my tickets. And I was feeling that extremely yesterday. So I just wanted to share that one last thing. But I love you. I love you, Farcade, but also I hate you. So there you go.
How's your
just that one
streak?
game.
Did you reset your streak?
Yeah, I'm back to like 2. No, it's sad. I'm very sad.
Do you know what you were at before?
I was at like 16 or something.
Okay.
Yeah. I had lost my first streak, like my first, I had started day 1 and then somehow lost it. And I was like, okay, so restarted like a couple days later. And then, then it was just gone. And it was very sad yesterday.
I'm very
it was
sorry.
very sad. And streaks are not a big thing for me. I usually don't care. And for some reason, this bothered me. So I log in and it was like, your streak. And it was like, oh, day 1 again. Oh no.
I'm sorry.
With the little confetti. I'm like, oh, that's so sad. That's very sad. Yeah. So
shout
hopefully,
out though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we talk about Farcade a lot, but shout out Farcade for all the little delightful little accents they add. Like the confetti is nice, the streak is nice. It's like all the little touches that improve the experience.
I heard you and Dylan talking about when he was talking about the TikTok layout, and I wasn't thinking about it like that. But when you look at it, like you know exactly what he's talking about, and it is when you're scrolling through the games, like you can see that. And I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about it like that, but yes, it is, and it is a nice feel. It has a nice look and feel. So
yes, which is exactly why I realized I didn't totally understand it because I'm not on TikTok. I know. I don't use TikTok so often. So I'm like, oh, all right.
Occasionally I'm on there if somebody sends me a video.
But I have been getting on TikTok so I can, before it goes away.
You're getting a fix, a last minute fix. That's a whole other thing that we'll dive into next week when it actually happens and resolves itself.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's a whole other funny situation for sure. I'm going to bring up Humpty, and I think Sahil is there, but I'm not sure. So I'll wait till he returns to his camera. Oh, he is there. Okay, so we're going to bring him up to the stage. And GM, Sahil, and Humpty, how are you guys today?
GM, everybody.
Very good morning. I had a pretty good laugh in the first 15 minutes, thanks to you and Adrian. So
good. That's what we aim to do. I go through our videos sometimes. I'll watch back to like check sound and everything, and I start laughing at ourselves. Like I'm like, we're funny. At times I'm like, wow, we're funny.
I was thinking about this. I don't realize if I didn't know if you realize every single thing you say is actually pretty funny. Those one-liners. So I'm glad that
sometimes I watch back and I'm like, wow, we're pretty good.
Like, oh my God, I love you guys. Can you come on every day and let's just...
We're good at this thing,
Hey,
we should keep doing it.
We should probably keep doing it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. 203
by the way,
episodes of practice.
Look at Humpty's like beautiful studio space. He looks so professional and we're just like crazy. with our crazy backgrounds, but you look so professional. And Sahil, you look nice too. You have a nice face as well. But I just like Humpty's is like next level.
Yeah.
It's like serious studio space. I'm super excited you're here because Sahil, I have said to you many times, I'm like, I know, I need to look at Kira. I'm sorry, I haven't had time. And I'm like, forget it, just come on the show and tell us.
Sure.
So I don't have to find time to do it. So I want to talk about, I don't know where you want to start. Let's start with Kira. Let's start with openrank and what it is. And then Humpty, I want to switch to you and talk about how cryptosapiens is using this and like what we're doing in the channel. So Sahil, tell us what is openrank and what is Kira and what's sort of the use cases for this.
Absolutely. So I think let's start with openrank. So I think it's been fun. We've been building kind of a reputation and a ranking system on the Farcaster social graph for a couple of years. It's funny, the first prototype we built was back in 2022 in October when there were 5,000 people on the network, and we forked Searchcaster. I think back then Greg built up a front end. And then we were like, hey, let me recommend who you should follow. That's it. So we basically ran PageRank on the entire network based on all your reactions. And we were like, hey, this could be fun. Traditional social networks, even Google uses this ranking algorithm to kind of differentiate signal from noise or to create personalized recommendations. So that was kind of our entry point 2 years ago. But then we were a little bit dormant on Farcaster just because we were waiting for the network size to grow a little bit more.
Right.
So we could actually add tangible value. But fast forward to earlier last year, right around the DGen time, when we suddenly saw a bunch of activity on the network, and it was becoming pretty noisy. And we realized, hey, what would be fun is to actually rank every single Farcaster user based on their engagement, based on their likes, so that you could actually differentiate who's adding value, who's a spammer, and spammer is a subjective term. So I'm totally...
Oh, we know. We have talked about it many times. There are people who get very sensitive about the spammer word. Got to be careful with that one.
Absolutely. So with openrank, our point of view was that anyone can come and build their own ranking, which will happen in the future. But now let's be opinionated, build a fair ranking system, pick a few handful people to start the ranking who've been here for a while, and then really generate a ranking. Now, how does it help? It helps you create some kind of spam labels. It helps DGen distribute rewards to the early contributors on the network. And now a bunch of token communities are using it as a signal for seeing who's actually active and positively contributing. So that's kind of the mental framework for openrank. But then we realized that channels are a unique thing. And I'm probably one of the persons who keeps beating the bush around channels, because I truly do think that they're one of the most high potential things on Farcaster that many other places don't have. They're grounds for building autonomous communities. So that's kind of the mental framework, where if Dan has 400,000 followers and he comes into any channel, it doesn't mean that his post should show up. It doesn't mean that he should be earning kind of the points, right? Unless he's actually caring and contributing and participating in that. So how do you make channels unique, independent from each other, independent from the Farcaster network and the global power badge system? And that's kind of where we started thinking about Cura, where what if we could help channels manage themselves without having to manually go and weed out spam posts, without having to manually see who is contributing in my channel. So that's kind of the origin story of Cura. Now what it does, it is a tool for moderators to manage their channel, token gate the channel if you would like, see a trending feed. Again, openrank's built a capability to sort good content, just like Wordcast has their own algo. We have a bunch of different algos. You could see every channel can have their own specific trending feed.
Cool.
Cura brings that to channels now via V2 frames. So a lot of interesting...
Wait, let me step back for 1 second. I just want to double click on something you just said. So you said channels can have their own trending type of feed. So how do you mean by how would that play itself out?
It's a great question. So the first building block is each channel, we create their own personalized ranking, starting from the moderators of the channel. We read the data from the Farcaster hub. So let's say GM Farcaster, Cryptosapiens, and OpenRank. Our 3 channels would have our own engagement going on. Cura would go and create a ranking for GM Farcaster, for Cryptosapiens, for OpenRank, and this ranking would first rank users based on what the moderators are engaging and kind of build this recursive trust system. And then we would just rank the posts or the casts. And now moderators can access this feed, pin this feed via a V2 frame. There's much more coming. There's potentially, there's potentially again, I think this is something that I probably tease is there's potentially a client there for channels. But we want to use the building blocks first with frames, with an AI agent, with tokens and channel wallets to see what's working and then really set channels up for success. So that's kind of to your question of how does this trending feed work for each channel.
Love it. And I wanted to point out this really quick. You did an AMA. So if folks have questions, and we're going to pull a couple questions from the chat, but if you have other questions that come up, you can go check out this in OpenRank AMA about CuraBot, channels, tokens, leaderboards, and channel V2 frames on Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So that was yesterday, but I'm assuming they could still drop questions there and you'll see them. So if you have other questions that we don't get answered today, please take a look at the OpenRank channel and drop them there. And then I want to pull this question up from, where'd it go? From Yes to Crypto. Where the heck did it go? There it is. No, where the heck did it go? There it is. So he said, it's called OpenRank, but is it open like OpenAI closed for profit or like open source? So good question. Is it open source or is it closed?
Love the question. It is absolutely open source. Every single thing from day one is open source. In fact, you can go and create your own ranking and create your own leaderboard using the OpenRank SDK. And so Nanar can create their own ranking. Anyone can create their own ranking using OpenRank and say, hey, this is my version of the ranking. Don't believe Warpcast or Cura's version. And I'm going to fork the channel and build a client and I use my own ranking. That is actually what we want to see happening. It is going to happen in the future, but right now we're obviously in the early days of onboarding and adoption.
And that's really helpful with like where we did have those issues with power badges and people feeling shadow banned and all that stuff, where it might be that they are, different language, different, whatever it is. So within your own channel, you can start to create, we can sort of level the playing field, if you will. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And I think this exact thing came up yesterday. I was having a chat with Peachy and there's a bunch of users in her channel, which are, let's say, shadow banned globally on Farcaster, but they're pretty active. And the whole purpose of an open social graph like Farcaster is to let these independent communities thrive with their own autonomy, with their own plurality of how their contribution to the network is. And OpenRank is kind of just building that tooling layer for it to just thrive and happen. Versus, sure, in Warpcast's point of view, you may not appear in the feed, but when you're in your channel or you're in a frame or another channel client, that person might be there on the top of the leaderboard. And that's fine. That should be how it is by design.
Awesome. Adrian, before I go to Humpty, do you have any other questions for Sahil?
No, fantastic. No, but just fantastic overview.
Yeah, that was super helpful. And Humpty, so you announced the other day that Cryptosapiens was going to be using Cura. So this was part of this announcement. What if your contributions earned real rewards? With OpenRank and Cura, communities on Farcaster just leveled up. Transparent reputation scoring, dynamic leaderboards, channel tokens. From reputation to rewards, these tools empower thriving, self-sustaining on-chain communities. Read our latest newsletter to learn how Farcaster channels are being revolutionized. So if you go look in the Cryptosapiens channel, you can give this more of a detailed look. And then this also from you, Humpty, the first ever channel token powered by OpenRank just launched. Cryptosapiens launched Cabal as a and there's the contract address, Adrian, make sure you have the right one. So there's many Cabal tokens, I am sure, as a novel way to reward meaningful engagement on Farcaster. Earn tokens by participating actively, cast your insights, share your on-chain creations, and engage with the community through likes, recasts, and thoughtful comments. Your contributions fuel a vibrant creator economy, and this token is our way of giving back. 1 billion tokens were created. 50% were locked into LP. The other 50% was allocated as rewards for active channel participants over 3 years. 5% of that allocation was airdropped just moments ago. Allocation was calculated using openrank and issued based on activity over the past 60 days. 25 million Cabal were sent to 245 channel members. You can claim using the frame below. By the way, the frame was fantastic. Very easy to use. For more info, check OpenRank docs and deck screener linked in comments below. So frame was really great. Was easy to claim, all of that. But Humpty, let's just dive in. Let's do a quick level set. What is Cryptosapiens? What's Cryptosapiens channel? Just kind of talk a little bit about some of the goals and approaches there. And then we'll dive into why you decided to go in this direction and how it's and what the plans are.
Yeah. So I've been building Cryptosapiens for about 3 years now. It started as a way for me to try my hand at being an educator, a crypto educator. And it's just grown a lot since episode 1. We've launched an incubator where we helped creators, learn the tools, create their first podcast. All they have to do is just show up. We have a production team that assists them with everything from developing their scripts to sourcing interviewees. So it's been a really fun experience for helping creators, podcasters specifically, learn the skill, the trade, and launch their first podcast. Many of these folks have actually gone on to do really big things, creating their own studios and agencies. Others have become really embedded in the Bitcoin economy and grown their own personal brand there, and continue to educate. So we're really proud for what we've done and helping people. But we realized that we want to scale this and we want to continue to grow. And being early to Farcaster taught me one thing, and that's that there's a lot of really great people on Farcaster, and really more importantly, people that care about crypto and one another. And so I've been slowly, growing my own community on Farcaster. When channels launched, that was a really exciting thing, to be able to bring people together around our own mission and the things that we want to talk about in that channel. So as we've continued to grow and develop Cryptosapiens, both as a brand, but also in terms of the content that we create, we are still very much interested in helping others learn what we do, because every single time, hopefully every single time something new drops, we're one of the first to try it out. When on-chain media first became a thing, we were trying these tools like pods. When on-chain virality was something that we wanted to explore and experiment with, people like Lucas and Adam, Brian from Boost all got together, and we were kind of brainstorming different ideas. And we learned that there was all of these different disconnected products that, if put together, can achieve something that was unheard of with on-chain media, and that's virality. And I'm very proud to be one of the few that has actually made podcast NFTs profitable through this system. And I've talked to many other friends and colleagues of mine in the on-chain media space and showed them basically the tools that I use and how I use them so that they can do the same. And so these are the things that I want to scale through the Cryptosapiens channel. So this is really where the work with OpenRank started. Last November, I feel like we started this conversation when they were developing, or at least the concept in their minds of what channel tokens could become.
Cool. Very cool. So then I've now launched Cabal. So what is the mechanics of what you're doing in terms of, so there was an airdrop. Can you talk a little bit about how that worked and who was how you determined what was dropped to folks?
Yeah.
And then what's the plans for that token going forward?
Yeah. So this actually is credit to Sahil and the OpenRank team. It is actually really, really easy. The first thing I did is I got rid of a lot of the other moderator bots that were on my channel. And it really, at this point, is just Kira, because Kira does it all. I'm able to curate my community by hypersub. I'm able to curate my community by token holdings because now there is Cabal. So there's a token that people could hold and then
Right.
become a member of the channel. I can curate people by people that I follow because I consider to be a high signal. If I follow you, I care to hear what you're talking about. So all of these different things are very
I don't
easily done.
necessarily think of that as high signal in terms of my following, but okay.
For me, it is. I'm very, and probably that's a problem for me in terms of like who I follow because my feed is really, restricted. But it's also very good for my personal experience on Farcaster.
I'm following like, I don't know, 2,500 people or something. I'm going to tell you right now, maybe, I can't say that they're all high signal, but you're all lovely and I love you all.
Yeah. But actually, that's the really cool thing to a bit of a side note with Kira. And if I'm in a channel or if I'm following a channel, if I'm not following you as a person, I can still see your cast because the way that Kira curates the content of the channel, it has nothing to do with me as a individual following you. It has to do with the curators or moderators or owners of that channel and how they curate and the culture that they develop in those channels. So a lot of the conversations that are surfaced in my feed that come through channels because people who are using Kira, it's actually still very high signal and interesting to me because again, it's a cultural thing and not just a bias thing, right? And I think that's what Kira does very good. So in terms of like when we launched our token, we used the Kira Launchpad to create the token contract.
So that's a
wallet.
great question you just answered because I was wondering if that token was created, on what platform or what you were using or how that was done, so that no one else is really sniping it. It's kind of controlled. Great. Okay.
Yeah, and actually, this is, I think, something that I've used as verbiage. I don't know if this is the right way to put it, but I always think of like the Kira Launchpad as like a clanker, but in a much more integrated fashion to Farcaster because of Kira. So you can create the token contract on there. You can specify how much of this you want going into the LP, how much of this you want going into the community wallet, which this is actually another very important piece of it. With clanker, right? Or at least with most token contracts that you create, the creator is the owner of that contract.
Right.
With the Kira Launchpad, token Launchpad, there is a community wallet that you create at launch who is the owner of that contract and those tokens. And that community wallet is integrated to your community channel. So
interesting.
The Cabal token is actually not owned and controlled by me. At launch, that immediately became owned and controlled by the Cryptosapiens community channel. And I think that's really interesting. Important.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's also, so putting my lawyer hat on for a second, that's really helpful liability wise. Very helpful liability wise. Like that's interesting. Like that kind of opens up some other opportunities and possibilities. So that's very cool.
100%. And, I'm based in the US, so I've always been very nervous about launching a token as an individual. But in this way, I feel like immediately, this is probably one of the most fair launch ways of doing something where like, I put this into the ether. It couldn't be more of a meme than that. It literally goes out from my hand as soon as I launch that contract.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And into the hands of a channel, which is not owned and controlled by me. This is owned and controlled by the community. They make these joint decisions in the future in terms of how we can continue to expand the utility of this token as well. So once you create that community wallet, once you do that, kind of distinction of what's going into an LP, what's going out to the community rewards, you can also, I believe, dictate, and Sahil, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, how much of this is going to be airdropped at launch as well. Between what's going to be retained in that community wallet for distribution over a vesting period, and also what's going to be airdropped immediately. And for us, the decision was we wanted to airdrop 5% of that initial, or of that 50% that was in the community wallet. So 2.5 overall % of the token was distributed immediately at launch to those who were actively participating in our community for the last 60 days. So I don't know if you have any questions about that, but I can definitely keep going.
Cool. No, that's great. I think that that is a very different approach that solves different problems. And I think that's sometimes been the issue with all these different token launchers, and it's like they're doing the same thing, but this is doing something different. And I think that's like, and that's why Clanker was interesting, because it was doing something different. So each one has different purposes, and I think that's important to point out, because they're going to work a little differently when you're making a choice of how you want to launch something. But I do think that this one, from a legal perspective, does solve some issues, which is super helpful. Because I know there's been time that has been my hesitation for a long time. We did finally launch a cast out token, but we've thought about a GM Farcaster token and didn't want to do it for a number of reasons. And that was definitely part of it, was that, legal aspects, as well as just everything that comes along with it, with people on your butt, like when token go up, things like that,
Well, it's a subtle difference, right? When someone launches a token, you don't always know what the utility is going to be, right? Like there's tokens out there I can use. So there's always that expectation of like, okay, what are you going to do with it? And people don't always know
what would the token do,
because you don't always know. So a lot of people will launch a token for a community. It's like, I don't know, but we'll find out as we go. Except when it's that one person launching it and kind of having most of the upside, there's a lot of pressure. So when you can launch a token that is actually owned by a community, it just feels so much more aligned and acceptable for you to say, we don't know, we'll figure it out as we go. It becomes more emergent because you kind of have that natural shared upside.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess accountability be your ownership.
Yeah. One thing I see, I also think of this to the point of like it owned by an individual versus owned by, either a community, but also by anyone who wants to go and buy this in the open marketplace, is that anyone can truly say, this is what I want to do with this token. Cabal is in the ether now. You can say, I want to buy, I don't know, if you do want to do this, 50% of the supply in the open market. Fantastic. Do whatever you want to do with it. The cool thing is the other 50% of it, the only way to earn it is by casting into the Cryptosapiens channel. And that's happening on a weekly basis. There's a weekly claim, which Sahil, you'll let me know when our next claim is. I think it's on Monday.
Yeah, every Monday morning you get your week started. Claim. Yeah.
Which that was another piece that we were talking about, right? Because Sahil and myself and a few other folks were very kind of involved in the development of this piece of it. I know that at least for Farcaster, and I think traditionally for tokens on Farcaster, there is a culture of like weekly engagement, and it's just even with Farcaster, like updating something on or the Merkle team updating something on Farcaster on Fridays. There's a culture of like something happens every week, so stay tuned. And so when we were originally talking about this,
builder culture permeates for sure. Yeah.
We were talking initially about this being something that could be claimable every day. I was like, please don't do that for Cryptosapiens. That's if you want to do this for everybody else, fantastic. Yeah. But with Cryptosapiens, we want to stay connected to the culture of Farcaster, which is weekly. Yeah. And I think that also makes it pretty exciting. Everybody on Monday can go check where they are in the leaderboard, or throughout the week can check where they are in the leaderboard. And on Monday, claim based on where they are in that leaderboard. Because for 3 years, this is going to be unlocked every week, a percentage of those tokens. And I think that's really cool, because someone asked me, is like, well, why wouldn't you do this like for the next 60 days or the next like 6 months? And I was like, I have a long-term vision for Farcaster. And I think that it has a tremendous potential in how it could continue to grow. Obviously, I have a lot of belief in crypto because I've been here since 2016. I continue to build. I want anyone who finds out about Farcaster in the next year or the next 2 years and is an on-chain creator and wants to grow with a community of on-chain creators to be able to earn and have the same earning potential that anybody else did that was in that Cryptosapiens channel 2 years before them.
Great. That's awesome. I did want to mention this. Yes to Crypto just pointed this out. This is the same as Yes to channel through rounds. Token anyone can buy. I provide LP and 10K distribute auto via rounds. So rounds also has some of those mechanics. It sounds like maybe slightly different. I know they launched something where you can launch a token also for the channel, but it sounds like different mechanics, and their rounds doesn't do the mod part of it, like that just for that aspect, but not for the channel aspect in general. So a little less, I think, functionality, but similar, another option. I'll just say, another option to explore as well.
Yeah. And I would say there's two things here that would probably, because I use rounds, that would distinguish this, is that it's more inclusive and more integrated is the best way that I can say it.
Okay.
And that's the cool thing about like creator Legos. You can add as many as you want. I will be launching a rounds next week that's going to use Cabal tokens and encourage more people to do some of these activities that I'd like to see on the channel. So definitely, you know, I think that there's a lot of potential here and layering rounds and Cura and creator tokens into your own stack as well.
I just want to say, as a fellow Farcaster builder, absolutely agree. I think all of these tools are amazing and you should use them together as much as possible where you deem them fit. Rounds is amazing.
Yeah.
Clanker is amazing. Clank pad is amazing. And I think now you kind of see these different value propositions coming in, fitting in together, which in Web2 social wouldn't be possible. But this is the kind of beauty of Web3, where if now layering Clank pad, which McBain is working on, you could launch any clanker in your channel, and that the proceeds, the fee from that clanker launched in your channel comes to the community wallet, right?
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah. So
alpha alert.
Things, which I think the pace of innovation is fascinating, and I think that's all we're here for, right?
That's really cool. Yeah, I was thinking because with rounds you could do any token, so you could be running around in a channel, like in the Cryptosapiens channel, where they could be earning through Cura. I mean, through the Cura and OpenRank, while also doing a round with degen or something else. So you could be doing both at the same time, even.
Yeah, I think one more thing that's very interesting, Professor Werder. The whole idea that anyone can do anything with your channel is the future. Like, I can give degen to Cryptosapiens. Now, I think the atomic unit here that we're trying to bring for all channels is every channel should have their own leaderboard and their own ranking system. Once you have that in place, then you can deploy your own token to those people. You can, anyone on the network, say, goes to Warpcast or goes to Farcaster, hey, CureBot, can you give 10 degen or 10 higher or 100 new token I just created to the top 10 users last week of GM Farcaster?
Yeah, cool.
Within one cast, you are able to do all of these things. That's how we're permissionless. You don't have to have handshake deals with anyone.
Yep.
You don't have to think about, do I need to call Warpcast API or not? That's how communities should be kind of interoperable as well.
I think that's always been sort of the promise of crypto. Like, for example, we know, you hold this NFT, you can get this airdrop, and the airdrop could be coming from anyone. And this has been happening a lot with Pudgies, where they're getting opportunities for Pudgy holders because they know this is a community we want to activate. And I think what's happening with these tools is just making that sort of overall concept much more easy to execute, and a lot more flexibility as well. So it's cool to see kind of all that coming together.
One thing I want to add about like integration or being integrated. Sahil just mentioned like forgive me if I'm saying this wrong. Clanker pad.
I think it's Clank pad.
Yeah. Okay, like Clanker pad, for instance, if someone launches a token in the Cryptosapiens channel, remind me again, Sahil, what is going to happen with the community wallet?
Yeah, basically, if you launch that token in the Cryptosapiens channel, the LP pool fee from the trading of that token, a portion of it directly comes to your channel wallet.
That's wild.
With the person creating it. So there's revenue streams now. So I think the example is, you're a Hollywood production studio and you have different people, contributing to the movie, and all of them have kind of some stake. So there's alignment of incentives happening, really. In my channel, I can launch a bunch of memes. One of them takes off. I benefit, but my channel also benefits, and then everyone who's kind of, So that's kind of the positive sum mindset, if you may, which something like this can activate.
That's really cool.
And a percentage of all fees of the token have already started to go into the community wallet. And so these are now part of the community funds, if you will. And we can decide in the future what we want to do with it. I have a lot of ideas of what I want to do, but the community might have different ideas. And that's the great thing. We can have this conversation to introduce things like what Ham has done. Ham, to me, was one of the most inspirational tokens and communities on Farcaster, and definitely one of the few that I kept looking to when we were looking and exploring at what this could potentially become, especially for Cryptosapiens. And the way that I see it, and this is another example of that I've been using to help people understand, what Deployer has done with Ham is amazing, but that's something Deployer can do. Not many people can do that. With Cura and with Cura's token launchpad, this scales it where everyone can do this now.
Right.
And this is, to me, super special because not all of us are developers. Not all of us can do what Deployer can do. They're badass.
We are not Deployer. Not even close. No.
Exactly.
Yeah. I need all the no code things. Like, forget it. Like, I know this much HTML only because I'm old. So you had to at some point if you're going to build anything on the internet. But other than that, that's the end of my coding
class.
Right? That's the end of my coding. That's it. HTML. That's it. I didn't take a class. Are you kidding me? There was no
They
classes.
taught it for me in middle school. What?
Oh my God. Shut up.
I smell a meme coin there with HTML connotation, by the way.
There wasn't HTML in my, okay, like, that's how old I am. There was no HTML. It didn't exist.
Yeah, are you guys both pretending to be old right now? Humpty, sit down.
I am old, but never mind. Okay.
If you were taught HTML in middle school, you are not old.
Do you want to hear what I learned in middle school? I had a computer class, but it was actually keyboarding. It wasn't, they weren't PCs. They were like word processors, and we learned typing.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I learned typing on typewriters.
Oh God.
Like,
but at least it wasn't just the
brown
girls.
fox jumps over the fence over and over and over again. Yeah.
Without looking, I can still kind of do a QWERTY.
Oh, I can still do that. Yeah.
But the boys had to take it too, so I'm not that old. It wasn't just a girl class.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not all of us. Yes. Yes. So there we go. Oh God, he's got the fancy keyboard. He's got fancy keyboards. That's so funny. But anyway,
I don't know why I can't type fast. This actually is a cool keyboard for ergonomics, but it's a horrible keyboard for being a fast typist.
Fast. Yeah, I'm pretty fast. So the point being, the easier we make this, the more people can use it, because not all of us are devs, even though there are a lot on Farcaster. Not all of us are devs, so which is amazing.
Also, the point being that everyone needs to know how to write HTML.
No, they don't. Nobody needs to know that anymore. That's what we have AI for now. That's no one needs to know, except for maybe a few people. But that's it. This has been amazing. I feel like I have such a better handle on what these tools can do, and super excited. Adrian, I loved this that you just said. If you want to sort of expand a little bit on that.
Oh, I wish I could just box up that whole conversation, and I don't know what to do, like just carry it around with me. So just the whole conversation about composability, and it's the I think, Humpty, you were talking about like all the different pieces you put together to be able to kind of, but then Sahil jumping in and being like, yeah, and you don't have to be only using Cura. There's, it works well with all these other tools, and it just reminds me that it's such a Web3 value, which is like open and composable, but you can have that all at the code level. But I think there's something really special about Farcaster builders, because from a culture perspective, really does push the there's builders as collaborators, not competitors.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that's special.
Sounds like a what do you call that? A senius.
It's something like that, yes.
Something like a senius.
Yeah.
Something like a By the way, there's like a whole discussion going on in here about MySpace. And then Mikado saying, what even is MySpace? And then Kristen saying, stop making us feel old. So I'll do you one better. I never was on MySpace because it was right in between. That's funny.
I resisted
that was
Facebook
also
for
Adrian.
a long time.
Just to be clear, that one was Adrian as well.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't answer you, because I was busy typing HTML.
You were busy coding
in our comments.
So funny. Hilarious. So funny.
Yes,
So,
Friendster. That was
Friendster. No.
Friendster, yeah.
I never used that either. My first social media platform was Facebook, and it was a couple years after launch.
ICQ here by any chance?
Say that again.
What?
ICQ. This
No.
was a P2P messaging platform. It's
No.
very quirky, branding and sounds when you get a message. But yeah, back in time. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah,
So funny.
of course.
Food Masku, never forget. Friendster, never forget. That's funny. So that, all right, we had a little nostalgia moment. A little bit of a nostalgia moment. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
sorry.
Whoops. Okay, you do it.
Americans never got into
There you
ICQ because of AOL.
Yeah, she's right.
Okay. Yep. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification, Kristen. By the way, sometimes Adrian and I will both press the same comment at the same time, and that's what just happened, because we were both like, "Oh, good point." We both did it at the same time.
I love your setup. I love that you can pop up all these messages.
It's fantastic.
You have a great setup.
StreamYard's amazing. I love StreamYard. It's really made a huge difference in our lives.
We started out with a very, very strict on-chain first and preference for on-chain tooling, and we are still very much pushing on-chain tooling, but we've opted for some other.
We've come down to reality. Yeah, that we just couldn't. Yeah, there was only so far we could grow with that direction, but we are. Yeah, so we're always want to be our team first.
Oh, we would get to from like I'm thinking of you, Yes to Crypto, and it's like, please go on YouTube.
Please go on YouTube.
Then the stream will work, because then it will actually show up and work reliably.
Before he was bugging Matcha every day. He was bugging us every day. Please go to YouTube.
But we listened.
And we did. That was back when we were on Unlonely. Oh, back in the days of like 7 months ago. Ancient. I did want to point out just a couple more casts for you all to go take a look. This is your top 10 ranking right now from a couple days ago so far this week. Very cool that you can pull this ranking very easily, and it is in a frame right here. So we got the current leaderboard right here in a nice little frame. So this is something you can pull into your channel as well. So very cool. And I think there was one more thing. Oh, this I wanted to highlight. Today I'm recording episode 2 of Open Rank mini-series with Sahil and Dharmi. We'll be diving more deeply into Curo AI agent and channel tokens. Let me know what questions you have. And where can they find this? I assume in your channel as well. You can find the new episode alert, but is it also on Pods?
So Pods is coming out today. So yeah, we do I have a team that helps me with scheduling and everything. So they have access to Podbean, which then puts it on Spotify and all those things, as you know, and then YouTube. So those two things came out yesterday.
Adrian, he has a team.
That's so cute.
It's so cute. We are the team.
Okay, now I'm blushing.
Sorry.
You're making a brown man blush.
You're so fancy. You got team.
We're going to get there. We're going to have a team someday.
You know what? The beautiful thing about having grown Cryptosapiens for 3 years is that we've been able to find people that care about the same things that I do, right? And so I've worked with a lot of DAOs over the course of these 3 years, and people have subscribed to become contributors to the project, and they earn, with grants. As we earn grants, they get distributed some of these funds. So it's not this fancy schmancy, like YouTuber team, like 30 people, but it's people that care about what we do. And then So
you don't have a Mr. Beast control area with a 1100 cameras at all times capturing everything? No. Okay.
No. But yeah, so Pods is coming out today because I'm the one that has to launch that. But I did want to also just double click on that leaderboard you showed. The cool thing about this leaderboard is that I do nothing to it. This is dynamic. This is literally using open data, open rank, to be able to determine every day who is moving up and down this leaderboard. So the leaderboard that I casted 2 days ago is ancient now because people saw that and I challenged them. I'm like, you know what? I'm the one casting a lot into the channel. So obviously I'm going to be number 1, but it doesn't have to be. Anyone can really create that value and engage with, people who are reputable in the channel, because that's the other thing to recognize is the engagement that's happening in these channels and the way that Kira works. Sahil, I'm doing your job here. Is that it's not just my like that matters, right? It because I'm the channel owner, you would think, oh, Humpty's likes is going to be the one that's going to have the biggest value there. No, anybody else that I make a moderator in the channel could have that. But more importantly, anybody else who open rank determines based on this algorithm that they've created for Farcaster to be reputable, even if you're not a channel member, that like is going to move you up that leaderboard. So it really is this open graph, open algorithms that allow for a much more interesting and dynamic way of viewing your channel members. And I think that that's really important to recognize.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Adrian, any other questions for our guests?
I have a question for Sahil I'd love to dig into if we've got a few more minutes. One of the things I found really interesting when you were talking about kind of the history of Cura. So when did Cura launch?
So Cura launched when the channel transition happened, I guess around August.
Okay. So let's call it somewhat new, even though in Farcaster time, that's a decade ago, but Cura is new. But I loved how you talked about kind of the history of Cura being built on openrank. You've been here for a very long time building. And so I just always, this isn't a question, but I'm just kind of pointing out, and Humpty, your story too, of like where cryptosapiens is now has kind of evolved over the years. So I just always love hearing the stories about the things that kind of pop up now that sound brand new, are never brand new and kind of always built on previous iterations or projects you've been working on. We probably made fun of openrank when it came out because we don't like to rank people, and people get very they take their rankings personally.
It's not your worth. Just letting you know, this leaderboard is not your worth.
Right.
They take it personally, but I liked your story of like, listen, but there's value in a page rank, right? Because at the end of the day, in the internet, there's infinite content. How do we get the signal from the noise? Yada, yada, yada. But I'm just curious, it's because you've been working on this for so long, and I don't know your background, like why communities, why did you choose this as something that you wanted to work on? Like, was this important to you? And just
no, that's a great question, and thanks. I think there's a lot of battle scars and bruises of iterations of different kinds amongst all of us, and I think I cherish that the most, and that's why you have to keep on iterating to build value. That's kind of what we're trying to do with Cura. But I think, Adrian, the origins of why I'm doing this is I've been in crypto for about 7 years. I was working on a layer 1 in 2017 for a bit, and just the whole spiel of crypto infra and saw the early days of Ethereum and obviously Coinbase, Uniswap. And while spending 3 years, so this is 2017 to 2020, working on infra, I realized we all kind of drum up the novelty of technology. But then when people come, which is a DeFi summer in 2020, 2021, a lot of people get scammed. A lot of people, crypto's not ready for the world. It's the same way as internet wasn't ready for the world, and we had the .com, boom and bust, right? So I think my realization back in 2021, when I was kind of coming off my layer 1 experience, is like, hey, people are getting scammed left, right, and center when you buy an NFT. Adrian, you said something really interesting in the first half when we hadn't joined, is these asset scores on the ticker pages. How do you differentiate fake Bored Ape from the real Bored Ape, or the fake degen from the real? You can't ask people to read the last 4 digits of the contract address. No, you need some kind of system which really reduces the cost of search, reduces the cost of safety for people when they're doing stuff on chain. And that was kind of the whole mission, that in the web world, PageRank has been the biggest kind of, when .com era happened, invention, that, and Google initiated it and Google made the most of it. But then even every social network, Twitter, Facebook, all of them, if you look at Twitter's algorithm, which is open source right now, most of it uses PageRank. It uses something called TweetCred. Now, they don't talk about it, but they're also actually ranking people. They're ranking content, but they have their own perverse or their own incentive system to show you and to get you attached to the platform. So I think the mission for us at OpenRank was, in crypto, which is by default Sybil prone, you need this kind of a ranking there. And we're a little bit geeky, nerdy, so we take things literally. We just call it open rank. But ranking people in content and contracts and anything on chain is really to make sure that end users have a great experience. There is better incentive alignment than all of these kind of centralized gatekeeper platforms we've seen. So this is kind of what I thought about in 2022, and now I probably can articulate it better than back then, right? And that's kind of the evolution of why we want to work on this. And honestly, this is just a starting point. Ranking people on a social network like Farcaster is because there is a high degree of activation energy on Farcaster. People come, people want to search for stuff. It's a great start. But the next step is anything on chain, which token to buy. And that's why even things like, hey, banker, go buy me some clankers. We created clanker scores also for basically contracts, which would solve for some of the things you were saying. Is like, hey, at the end of the day, users need to trust an agent or trust a platform like Warpcast to get things done. And under the hood, it needs some kind of ranking there. But let's not have one person control it. That's why let's build a protocol where people can come and have their own expression of rankings, right? So that's kind of the origin story. I still think what I'm describing, very with full humility, it'll take 10 years for us, 5 to 10 years for this to really pan out. But every month we have to ship and we have to solve the problem of today in that long-term vision. That's why when I just talk about the long-term vision, people are like, hey, I don't understand what you're saying, but the way to actually show and feel is, okay, Cura, every channel has a leaderboard. Every community needs to distribute rewards, needs to become autonomous, and let's start there, and slowly we'll grow from there. So it's a long-winded answer. I don't know if I answered it, but that's kind of one way to think about it.
Yeah, that was great. Follow-up question. Are you part of the Coinbase Mafia?
No, I'm not. I'm
okay.
Yeah, we thought maybe you worked there before,
Yeah.
I do have I have one last question for Humpty, or one last point. I was having a hard time pulling this up, but it came up now. So there was the leaderboard for you to see. And I do see our friend AfroChicks on here. But this might be one of the few leaderboards where Yes Crypto is not at the top yet. So not working hard enough. And I do have one other question. This ranking numbers look very similar to Warpcast rewards. Is that using OpenRank as well, Sahil?
No, Warpcast is not using OpenRank. Warpcast has their own algorithm.
Okay. I was just curious.
So, and it's on purpose. The whole scoring system is because Warpcast did a great job at socializing the idea of leaderboards. And I think props to them. It works. And we're just saying, hey, every channel should have their own leaderboard without having to do much, without having to have the same Warpcast-like team to rank and kind of create put all the backend to serve that. So that's intended, but Warpcast has their own algorithm.
And then just one more thing for Humpty. So I made this lovely cover art yesterday. And you know how much better it would look if you had changed your freaking PFP yesterday? So I had to give you crap for that. Because look how cute it would have been if they had a little noun over here. And then we have the pudgy over there. I mean, it just would have been perfection. But no, instead we've got like a real person PFP. Like what? Since when do we use real people PFPs? Come on.
I was
Humpty.
trying something.
He's over it now.
No, I was trying to show my face because in crypto, no one really does. I was like,
I know.
I'm a real person. But then I realized
nobody wants to see that.
I'm pretty nounish. Okay. The things that I do
nounish.
are very nounish. So my core values still are very much aligned to those of noun. So after the call this morning, I was like, you know what? I'm inspired again to change my PFP because why did I change it in the first place? So there you go. Sorry.
I just wish you would have had that inspiration one day sooner. And I would have flipped that out because, I mean, it would have just looked so cute. So anyway, just had to give you a little bit of a hard time there.
Thanks. By the way, I wanted to say the AfroChicks comment you made, she literally came in
She's awesome.
a day ago and cast for the first time. But she got so much engagement to that cast that she skyrocketed.
Went
past
right up.
Other people who were there. That's the cool thing about this reputation thing is you don't have to be there a long time. if you're there and your cast, which hers did, fall right into what we were asking people to do, and a lot of people liked it. Not just people in
That's
our
great.
channel, I'm sure people outside of our channel who are reputable boosted the heck out of that. And now she's what, in 5th, 6th place? So yeah, congrats.
And I think that says a lot to something we talk about when we talk about content here is like, just be authentic, be yourself, and share all that. So Averagix has been one of my favorite sort of case studies of coming onto Farcaster and just doing things exactly right. Like just in terms of content creation. So it was really fun to see her in that list. Anything else that we did not cover that you wanted to shout out, or anything else anyone should know from either of you? We've posted, we'll have all these links to the casts that we shared will be in the show notes, but anything else that you wanted to share?
No, this was great. I just want to say thanks for having us and really helping us, push the idea and potential of channels forward. And if any channel moderator wants to get on to Cura, please ping us anytime. We're also trying to get channel leaderboards ready for more than 100 channels within this week. So if you're interested,
Wow.
just let us know and we'll get it out there. But yeah, this was a fun chat.
Amazing. And Humpty, anything else from you and Cryptosapiens that everyone should be aware of?
Join the Cryptosapiens channel. Use the Cura link or leaderboard to ask for membership. Actually, if you go to the top in the bio, there's a button that says become a member. I can add you personally, or if you're a Cabal holder or a Hypersub subscriber, automatically become a member. So yeah, join the channel.
Amazing. And here's a channel. There's the link right at the top there. So become a member, click on that. And I'm already a member, so I won't bother, but yeah, go check it out. Amazing. All right, Adrian, anything else as we wrap up?
No, that was super fun. We are, this is our Friday show. So happy Friday, everybody.
Yes.
We'll
Technically
be back.
The Friday show.
Yeah, we'll be back on Monday. I think others enjoyed the episode as well. So
I don't know how to take that, Mikado. I mean, good. That's great. But also, I don't know. I'm kind of insulted at the same time. I don't know which. Just kidding. We love you, Mikado. All right, awesome. And so we will be back Monday, 8:30 a.m. We'll see you then. And with that, everybody, bye-bye.